The first 40 days matter because they shape how motherhood settles into the body and the mind. Most women remember the first 40 days after motherhood in pieces. A kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix, a body that doesn't feel like home yet, a sense of being needed constantly and still feeling alone. And even years later, that period has weight, which tells us something important happened here. I've heard this story from many new mothers. A few days after birth, visitors come, the baby is passed from one set of hands to another, everyone is smiling. He looks just like his father. Such a good baby. You're so lucky. And the mother smiles too. Her body is sore, stitches still healing. She's trying to sit upright without wincing and running on broken sleep. And quietly she realizes something. No one asked how she was feeling. Not in a cruel way, not intentionally. It just isn't the focus anymore. And somewhere in that moment, she realizes that the baby has become the center. It isn't that she isn't loved, but she feels like the background, as if she's already expected to be okay. Later, many women tell me that they wish somebody had said to them, "Go lie down, we've got this." Not because they didn't want to hold their baby, but because they needed someone to hold them for a moment. And that's the part we don't talk about. In those first few weeks, your body isn't back to normal. It's still recovering. The placenta leaves the body and with it, your hormones shift suddenly. It's a big drop, a fast one. So if you found yourself crying for no reason, or feeling shaky, or feeling still on edge, that wasn't you being overly emotional. That was your body trying to recalibrate. Inside, things are still moving back into place. You might have stitches. You might still be bleeding. Breastfeeding might hurt more than anyone warned you it would. And then there's the sleep. Not the deep, uninterrupted kind. Just short stretches, a nap here, maybe 90 minutes there. You wake up before your body has truly rested. So even on a day that looks totally fine from the outside, your system is already working so hard just to steady itself. And here's something we don't talk about enough. When there isn't enough rest, when no one is really protecting your space, your body doesn't fully soften into healing. It stays alert, it adapts. Instead of settling, it shifts into just getting through. It quietly tells itself, okay, we'll manage. And managing is very different from being taken care of. And at the very same time, something emotional is shifting too. Responsibility becomes constant. There's no real off switch anymore. Not dramatic, just constant. Even when the baby sleeps, part of you is still listening. And quietly, without warning, your sense of who you are starts rearranging itself. You're still you, but not in the same way. And that can feel unsettling. For some women, it shows up as anxiety, a racing mind at night, replaying small decisions, feeling on edge even when technically everything's fine. For others, it feels like overwhelm, crying more easily than you expected, snapping and then feeling guilty, wanting 5 quiet minutes and not knowing how to ask for them. This is something I've observed in many new mothers. People tell her how well she's doing. You look great, you're handling this so calmly. You're such a natural. Oh wow, you bounced back so fast. And she smiles because from the outside she's functioning. The feeds are happening, the house is running, not perfectly, but running. And she's showing up the best way she knows how. But internally she feels stretched thin. There are moments she wants to say, I don't feel as steady as I look. But when everybody reflects strength back at you, it feels difficult to show that you're overwhelmed. So she keeps going. She copes, she manages. And sometimes she doesn't even realize how much she's holding on to until much later. That's what survival mode looks like. Not falling apart, not dramatic. She's quietly carrying more than anyone sees. And because all of this is happening at the same time, physical recovery, emotional adjustment, your nervous system is quietly taking it all in. It's paying attention. Not in a dramatic way, but steadily. It's noticing what happens after the exhaustion. Is there care or is there more expectation? When you say you're tired, does someone step in? Or do you feel like you should be managing better? When you need help, does it feel safe to ask? Or does it come with guilt? The nervous system doesn't think in long explanations. It doesn't analyze. It simply registers. Am I safe or am I under pressure? Was I supported? Was I allowed to truly rest? Was someone watching over me while I was watching over the baby? And if in those early weeks the answer was mostly not really, your body doesn't judge that. It just stores this experience as something it had to carry alone. And this is why the first 40 days don't simply just fade away with time. Not because women are holding on, but because the body remembers what it had to push through to become a mother. I have so many women who still tell me how they feel so emotional when they talk about those first 40 days, even if 5 or 6 years have passed. They say it's been months, years even, why does this still affect me? And there's often a confusion with that question. The body doesn't move on just because the calendar does. It moves on when it feels settled, when it feels safe enough to soften. If those early weeks were rushed or lonely, your system may have stayed slightly alert. Not dramatic, not broken, just braced. And that isn't because you failed. It's because you needed more care than you received. Sometimes women say to me, my partner helped me a lot, but I still felt alone. And when they say that, they're not dismissing the help. They are trying to describe something really hard to explain. Even when partners try, the emotional weight can still feel uneven. She was still the default parent, the one listening for every sound, the one whose body was still feeding, healing, responding, the one who woke up every few hours, almost every night for maybe 2 years sometimes. Her body was doing work that no one else could. And that's a different kind of tired. Most people don't even realize how draining breastfeeding can be, how much energy it takes from your body, how depleting it can make you feel. And that's why no matter how much help you have, you can still feel tired, exhausted, lonely. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unseen. You can be supported and still feel alone in your responsibility. And that kind of loneliness in early motherhood settles deep. And that is why I say in early motherhood, it's very important to help the mother. Because the mother has to feed the baby, she has to do a lot of things that nobody else can. So the things that you can actually do are more for the mother than for the baby. So always remember, when interacting with anyone who's just had a baby, ask them what they need. Usually it's a little water, some sleep, some care, and sometimes just someone to listen to them and acknowledge what they're going through. In many older cultures, this was understood without needing research or explanation. Life slowed down around a new mother. She was fed, checked on, given space to rest, relieved at least for a while from the usual expectations, not because she was seen as weak, but because people recognized something important. Healing and bonding need protection. They need safety. Today, much of that slowing down has disappeared. We return to normalcy quickly. We host, we respond to messages, we try to prove we're fine. But even though the pace of life has changed, the biology hasn't. A mother's body still needs the same gentleness. The nervous system still needs the same sense of safety. If your baby is now 2 or 5 or 10 and you still feel something when you talk about those first few weeks, it doesn't mean you're stuck. It just means a part of you never fully settled. Sometimes we move forward because we have to, but our bodies take a little longer to catch up. And the beautiful thing is settling can still happen, even now. I make these videos because so many women quietly wonder if there's something wrong with them, when often what's really missing is understanding. If conversations like this resonate with you, subscribing simply helps this reach more women who might need to hear it. So if those first 40 days felt heavy for you, physically, emotionally, or both, that doesn't mean something went wrong. It means your body and your mind were going through something enormous, and they might not have had the protection they needed while they were going through this. The first 40 days matter because they shape how motherhood settles into your body and into your nervous system. And if no one slowed life down for you back then, you're allowed to slow it down for yourself now, even years later.